श्रीराघवं दशरथात्मजम् अप्रमेयम् सीतापतिं रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुम् अरविन्ददलायताक्षम् रामं निशाचर विनाशकरं नमामि. We are in Uttara Kanda. Kujantam Rama Rameti Madaram Madaraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Mande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Anacharanaha Shunvan Rama Katanatham Konyati Parangatim. Ya Pipan Satatam Rama Charitamrita Sagaram Atraptastam Munim Vande Prachetas Makalmasham Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale Haime Mahamandapi Madhya Pushpakamasani Manime Virasane Sustitam Agre Vacheti Prabanjana Sute Tatram Manipya Param Vyakyantam Bharatadibi Parivratam Ramam Bhaje Shyamalam. We should always listen to and recite Valmiki Ramayana with immense gratitude. So we have already gone through two different topics. First is the history of the Rakshasas, wherein the Lord wants to know the history of Ravana. Why exactly is Indrajit supposed to be very powerful, and primarily we saw the various curses that Ravana had received. We never really learned the story, the background of those curses in Yuddha Kand, but now we are getting to see them. So it's why is Meghnad known as Indrajit? Why did how many curses did he receive? How many curses did Ravana receive? He received from Nandi, from Vedavati, from Nalkuber, and many more. And we also saw how powerful Hanuman is. We have seen that Lord Rama says goodbye to all of his wonderful friends who were there for him. And contrary to popular belief, Hanuman doesn't stay in Ayodhya. Hanuman also goes back to Kishkinda. And we've also seen Pushpak Viman and all that as well. So everyone had come in for the Lord's coronation, and now everyone has gone back. They've stayed with Lord Rama for over a month. They have really enjoyed the time and everything. And now they have all gone back. And then let's see what happens. This topic is sending SitaMa to the forest again, wherein she resides in Sage Valmiki's ashram. It is one of the most controversial pastimes, but it's controversial only to people who haven't read Valmiki Ramayana. And because of this pastime, people say that Rama could never have done this. Rama could never have sent SitaMa to the forest. So this could never have happened. So this is just a latest addition. But the fact of the matter is, Padma Purana also says that Lord Rama sent SitaMa to the forest. Srimad Bhagavatam also says the same thing. So why are they considered okay, but Valmiki Ramayana's version is considered wrong? So all of them are talking about the same pastime. With few variations, but the fact of the matter is the pastime did take place. And there is no other way to look at it. And therefore, we need to understand why SitaMa was sent to the forest. Why? Why did she have to go? Especially when she was pregnant with not one child, but with two children. So at that time, why did Rama send SitaMa away? And we will learn why. So Pushpaka is sent away, and Rama enters this beautiful Ashoka garden. We have already seen that in Rama's palace, we have a beautiful Ashoka garden in there. And it's very beautiful. It is more beautiful than Indra's garden. And Lord Rama asks SitaMa to drink. The servants bring them great food and fruits, apsaras and dancing in front of them. Like this, they are spending many happy days together. And like this, slowly the winter passes. So we know that Lord Rama came in during Sri Ramanavami. He returned during Sri Ramanavami. So right, it's about it's almost this is like Aprilish or so. The friends all leave after about 1.5 months or something like that. So Rama says goodbye to everyone. So 1.5 months. And then afterwards, obviously, the monsoon season would have started and everything. And now slowly we are now reaching winter. So around winter, the Lord is performing the various duties, and in the evening, he spends time in the palace chambers. SitaMa spends the first half of the day worshipping the Lord, and then her mother's-in-law. Then she comes dressed up in front of Lord Rama in beautiful clothes. And one day, so it's almost like 6 months have passed. It's almost 6 to 7 months have passed since the coronation. And one day, SitaMa appears, and Lord Rama knows that no, she's pregnant, and he asks her, "What can I give you in return for this wonderful news that you're going to become a mom? So what do you want?" She says that she wishes to see the wives of the ascetics on the banks of River Ganga, who are living on fruits and roots. And Lord Rama says, "I promise to fulfill your wishes." Did you see this one? The first reason why SitaMa was sent to the forest is because Lord Rama, who is always fixed on fulfilling his promise to someone, had to do it, because SitaMa said, "I want to see the sages on the banks of River Ganga who are just living on fruits and roots." She didn't say, "Oh, I want this, I want that." No, she said she wants to see the sages. And this is the first reason why SitaMa was sent to the forest, just so that Rama can fulfill the wishes of Mother Sita. Then Lord Rama, he goes into the inner chambers, goes out of the air. So SitaMa is in the innermost chamber. Lord Rama goes out and sees his friends. So Vijaya, Madhumata, Kashyapa, Mangala, Kula, Suraji, Kaliya, Bhadra, Dantavakra, Sumagada. So this Dantavakra is not the same Dantavakra in Lord Krishna's pastimes. That is different. This is different. And all of them encircle Rama, and they all talk very amusing things. Then Rama asks his friend Bhadra, "How are the citizens of Ayodhya talking about Sita, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Kaikeyi?" Bhadra says that everyone is just praising Lord Rama, especially the way he killed Ravana, and by constructing the vast bridge over the ocean. And Rama released Sita after fighting a fierce battle. But how has he accepted Sita after she lived in Ravana's palace? How can he delight in her company? Even the subjects must brook bad behavior from the wives, because they should follow the footsteps of the king. And Bhadra says that this talk has happened in many cities and provinces. Rama assimilates the news, and then he dismisses his friends. So in Padma Purana and Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that one person, there is one washerman, he is the one who says it. In Valmiki Ramayana, as we just saw, so it's like Lord Rama had disguised himself and he was going about, and he heard one washerman tell his wife that I'm not Rama to accept Sita after she lived in Ravana's palace for a year. And that is not mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, but that is not to say that it is not true, because Puranas have mentioned it. So it is true. It just didn't take place during the Valmiki Ramayana time. So this is a different appearance. We have mentioned that multiple times before. And this is it. When, according to Bhadra, there were many people who were saying the same thing, not just one. There were many people who said that, you know, our wives can behave as they want, and we have to just accept it because our king is behaving that way. Our king is behaving that way. So now the question is, our Ayodhyavasis are great bhaktas of the Lord. Why are they behaving this way? Our Ayodhyavasis are great bhaktas. They know the greatness of SitaMa. They know the greatness of Lord Rama. So suddenly, why are they behaving this way? This is because the Lord wants to accomplish something from them. It is not that they are ignorant or they are non-bhaktas, nothing like that. Ayodhyavasis are very great bhaktas, but because the Lord wants to conduct this pastime of sending SitaMa to the forest, he makes them say all of these things. He makes them say it. There is a reason why SitaMa had to go to the forest. It was not whimsical, and it was not, you know, at the blur of the moment. It was not, nothing was blurry, nothing was whimsical. It's very deeply planned. So just as how Arjuna is a great Kshatriya, he's a greatly highly educated person, and yet he was put in ignorance just so that he can help the Lord do his pastime of reciting the Bhagavad Gita. He was put in ignorance just so that he can participate in the Lord's pastimes. It's not that the Lord needs help. It is just that he participated in the Bhagavad Gita pastime. But Arjuna is a great student. He was taught by the noble Dronacharya. But yet he was put in ignorance just so that Krishna can conduct that pastime. Similarly, the Ayodhyavasis were temporarily put in ignorance so that this pastime can take place. And that is the exile of Mother Sita can take place. So it's not as if the Ayodhyavasis are to be blamed. There is a huge, online, discussion about how Ayodhyavasis are not at all good bhaktas. That is not true. We shouldn't forget how the Ayodhyavasis felt. And just imagine if they were really bad bhaktas, would Lord Rama, if they were really bad people, you cannot have bad bhaktas. Bhaktas are always good. If there are really bad people, would Rama have given them shelter? No. If they were really bad people, would Ayodhya flourish the way it did? No. So we have already heard that during Lord Rama's rule, everyone said, Ramo, Ramo, Rama iti praja number one katha. That was it. So we've already seen that Mandodari cannot be considered a good bhaktin because she was very jealous of SitaMa. So this particular action is not because of the personal jealousy or personal hatred towards the Lord or Mother Sita, nothing like that. This because the Lord temporarily put them in the state of ignorance so that they can speak this way, because he wanted the Ayodhyavasis to help him in his pastime of sending SitaMa to the forest. Because there is a reason why. And I'm just going to give you a sneak peek reason. SitaMa's entry into the forest, please pay very close attention to this. SitaMa's entry into the forest is the reason why Valmiki Ramayana is supreme. I'm just going to let it sink in. We are going to explain this in greater detail, but remember that Lord Rama never does anything without thinking about it multiple times, without knowing the pros and cons. He would never do something. So if he is enacting a pastime, it is only meant for the world's benefit. He will never do a pastime where the entire world is not benefited. He will never do something like that. Including killing of Ravana was meant for the benefit of this entire world, including Ravana. That is Lord Rama. Including Ravana benefited when Lord Rama killed Ravana. So when this person by the name of Rama can be so kind that he considers the welfare of all living entities, do you think that he would not consider his own internal potencies, feelings? Why would he do that? Why would he do it? So now that we have this foundation, let us go ahead. Then the next day, Lord Rama calls Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. And they all come running to Lord Rama and they salute him. But they see that Rama's face is swimming in tears. We have already seen the Lord cries only for his Bhaktas. He doesn't cry. He doesn't really, he's very stoic with people who do not show any interest in him. He would never criticize them or anything. But with people who are disinterested in him, he's very stoic, but he will never abandon them, but he's very stoic. But with close bhaktas, he's very close. And now SitaMa is a grade above everyone else. She's a grade above everyone else. And therefore, Lord Rama is swimming with tears. They embrace him, they wipe his tears, they sit down. Rama says, all of you please sit down. So they sit and they're waiting. Rama, what do you need? Rama, what do you need? And then Rama says that the people of Ayodhya have been talking about him and Sita, and how Lakshmana knows that Ravana had kidnapped Sita, and how after Ravana was destroyed, SitaMa entered the fire to prove that she is very pure and innocent before the Devatas and the Rishis. Rama also knows that Sita is extremely chaste. So that's the reason why Sita returned with him to Ayodhya. But now the censure of the citizens have pierced his heart. He has never experienced such grief before. So this grief is even more than the grief that he felt when SitaMa was kidnapped. The grief, the pain that he's feeling right now. So once again, this pain was not caused by the Ayodhyavasis, because the Ayodhyavasis, I've heard that they've been criticized so much for the way they behave towards Lord Rama and Sita Ma, but they are not at fault. They are not at fault. This pastime had to happen. This pastime just had to happen, and they were the tools. The Lord can use us as his tools. They were just the tools. The reason why Lord Rama says that this is the most difficult time is because he knows that that he has to live in separation from Sita Ma going forward. Even though Rama and Sita can never be separated. But the fact that she has to go through this pastime, and she will be residing in Valmiki Muni's ashram, was a reason why Lord Rama is full of tears. Remember that before she entered the fire, Lord Rama hung his head, put his head down. And right now, Rama is swimming with tears. But for the sake of Dharma, Rama is willing to let go of his life as well. And we have already seen that SitaMa is often compared to Rama's life. Tvam pranapya api gariyasi. So Rama says, I'm giving away my life at the moment. I'm giving away my life. So this is the second reason to protect Dharma. But Rama never really does something for just one reason. It's always, he accomplishes multiple things through a single pastime. He is capable of doing that. And therefore, it is said, Rama decides, yes, I need to send Sita to the forest. So tomorrow, Lakshmana, he tells Lakshmana, you and Sumantra take the chariot and you drive Sita to Valmiki Muni's ashram. That's it. And leave her there. We saw that before Lord Rama said that he's going to go off into the forest, Lakshmana and Mother Kausalya dissuaded him from doing so. And Lakshmana was very angry and he said, Rama, you shouldn't have to go to the forest. You shouldn't have to do this and all that. And that topic continues over and over again. And Lakshmana is finally, okay, fine, my brother is not going to budge, so I have to go to the forest as well. If Rama has to go to the forest, so should Lakshmana. And that's it. But right now, Lakshmana doesn't even say a single word. He doesn't say a single word. Why? Because he knows his brother. He knows the significance of sending Sita. It doesn't mean that he's not sad about it, because we will see Lakshmana's lamentation as well. It doesn't mean that he's not sad about it, but he knows that Lord Rama has some reason behind it. So, because Rama doesn't say just abandon Sita somewhere in the forest, he never says that. He says, make sure that she's staying in Valmiki's ashram. He sends Sita Ma to Valmiki's ashram. He doesn't send her to the forest. You see how people twist the Lord's words. The Lord says, the Lord did not abandon Mother Sita. He says, Lakshman, you take Sita to Valmiki Muni's ashram. Now, he is giving Valmiki that level of, he is giving Valmiki the next service. So the first is that Valmiki is going to be the one to teach his sons, Kusha and Lava. He knows he has already chosen Valmiki to be the one to compose the Valmiki Ramayana. He has already chosen. So at this time, right around this time, Valmiki has not yet started the composition of Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki has not yet done that. It's only now that he is going to do it. So the first chapter of Balakand, Sankshepa Ramayana, has not yet taken place. It has not yet taken place. So Rama has already chosen Valmiki. So he could have chosen Agastya, or he could have chosen Bharadwaja. He could have chosen anyone. He could have chosen Sutikshna Muni. But he chose Valmiki. He chose Valmiki. And therefore, he could have chosen Atri Muni. Oh, Atri Muni, Mother Sita and Mother Anasuya had a great relationship. So he could have just said, Sita, you go and stay with Anasuya and Atri Muni. He could have chosen anyone, but he chose Valmiki Muni. He chose Valmiki. And therefore he said, Lakshmana, you send Sita, you drop off Sita in Valmiki Muni's ashram. So where does it say that, that Rama just sent Sita Ma to the forest? Where does it say? He's particularly saying that Sita should go to Valmiki Muni's ashram. He has already chosen Valmiki to be the one to write his story, to write Ramayana. And he wants Kusha and Lava to grow up in that environment wherein they listen to Valmiki Ramayana since their birth. VR can bring closer to the people, can bring people closer to Lord Rama, and therefore he wants the devotees to come closer to him. And this is the reason why Sita goes to the forest, so that Valmiki Ramayana is propagated. She gives her 2 sons for in the cause of Valmiki Ramayana. We will still see some more. And then he tells Lakshmana, Lakshmana, if you were to desist, I am not going to be very pleased. So, as I said before, Kausalya and Lakshmana had argued again and again against Rama going off into the forest. But right now, Lakshmana doesn't utter a single word. He doesn't utter a single word. Why? First of all, Lakshmana never speaks without Lord Rama's permission. Even at that time, he spoke because Lord Rama wanted him to speak. Lord Rama wanted him to speak. That's the reason why he spoke. And at that time, he answered the questions. He asked the questions that ordinarily any one of us would have asked. Why should Rama go to the forest when it was someone promised someone else that Rama will go to the forest? Someone did. So why should Rama go ahead and fulfill someone else's vow? So this was Lakshmana's question. It's unfathomable for Rama to go ahead and do it. But yet Rama does it. So Lakshmana questions, why are you doing that, my dear brother? You don't have to do it. So Rama says, it is the person who asked for these boons was my own father. So I cannot just go ahead and forget about it. So I am going to go. And then when they argue again and again and again, Rama says, you are not understanding Tvam Mama Abhipraya. You're not understanding my mood, my wishes. You're not taking my wishes into consideration. Rama says that. And then Lakshmana and Kausalya say, okay, and they keep quiet. That previously Rama had said, Mama Abhipraya, my views have to be taken into consideration. And now Lakshmana doesn't have anything to say against this. It's very heartbreaking, but Lakshmana doesn't say anything. Do we love Rama and Lakshmana, Rama and Sita more than Lakshmana? No. We don't love Rama and Sita more than Lakshmana does. And Lakshmana didn't have anything to say because he knows why SitaMa has to go to the forest. He knows. SitaMa has to go to Valmiki Muni's ashram. He knows that. And therefore, he doesn't utter a single word. And now Rama says, Sita's wish is to go and stay with the hermits on the banks of River Ganga, and I've promised to fulfill her wishes. And now Rama sighs like an elephant. So now he's bringing back the first reason, saying that Sita wants to go and stay over there. So be it. Now, once again, Rama is stricken with grief and he goes back into his chambers. The next day, Lakshmana says, Sumantra, can you please yoke the horses? So the same chariot, the same horses that the Lord used to, maybe not the same horses, but at least the same chariot that the Lord used to go into the forest, during his exile. On the same thing, Sumantra, yokes the horses, and he's waiting. Lakshmana says that he needs to send SitaMa to the hermitage of the ascetics, and Sumantra absolutely brings it. Now remember, the same Sumantra, when Rama went on exile, the same Sumantra, look at how vehemently he spoke against Kaikeyi. He said, when you crush neem leaf, you won't get honey. And your mother also did the same Durgati, or the bad shape on her husband. And now you're doing the same thing. So you're following your mother's footsteps. So he was very bold and towards Kaikeyi. He does express his emotion, his grief against Kaikeyi. Here he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say, oh Rama, you shouldn't do something like this. So why are Lakshmana and Sumantra, all of them, silent? Because they know that Rama will never do anything unjust. Do we love Rama and Lakshmana, Rama and Sita more than Sumantra? No. Sumantra has, we have already seen in Ayodhyavasis, Sumantra had full entry, full access to Rama's inner chambers. Full access. Rama's, Dasaratha's, everybody's chambers, and he could also enter the palaces of Dasaratha's multiple wives. Sumantra had full access. He was such a trusted person by the royal family. He was so trusted. He was so loved. Wherever Rama wanted to go, Sumantra would be there to drive the chariot. Whenever Dasaratha wanted to see Rama, he would say, he would come to Rama and say, Dasaratha wants to see you, and then Rama will go get on that chariot and he'll go and see his father. This closeness, can we go ahead and are we, whatever clothes we're wearing and all that, can we just go and stand in front of the Lord on the altar? No. We cannot do that. There are certain regulations that we need to follow and everything. It's not as if, oh, I like Rama, I'm just going to go and stand on the altar. I cannot do that. But Sumantra has that love for the Lord, because of which he can go and speak to Rama in the innermost chamber. He can do that. So that Sumantra also did not have anything to say. So when great Bhaktas like Bharata, Shatrughna, Lakshmana, Sumantra, when great Bhaktas do not have anything to say against Lord Rama's activities, who are we to criticize the Lord? Who are we? We are fallible beings. We're not even good Bhaktas. We're not even good Bhaktas. So are we allowed to go ahead and criticize the Lord? Why? Just because of our poor understanding? So now what should we think? Okay, why hasn't Lakshmana said anything? Why hasn't Sumantra said something? Their silence speaks loud words. The silence is very, very loud. Because they are silent, that means that my understanding of this pastime is not correct. Because they are great bhaktas, so I need to change my mentality so that I can match the activities of Lakshmana and Sumantra. I need to change. Then Lakshmana goes inside Rama's inner chamber and says, Mother Sita, Lord Rama has asked me to take you to the ascetics. So can you please get ready? So SitaMa takes several ornaments and garments to give to the wives of the ascetics. And then Sita and Lakshmana ascend the chariot, and they are thinking of Rama, and they go ahead and they proceed. SitaMa now notices a couple of inauspicious omens. Her right eye twitches, and we've already seen the right eye is bad. The right side is bad for women, and the left side is bad for men. So just after Rama killed Maricha and he was walking towards the hermitage, his left side began to throb. That time itself, he knew that something wrong had happened to Sita. He knew it. He knew it. And right now, Mother Sita's right eye begins to throb. Her mind is a little restless and she's depressed as well. And she's thinking, is my Rama okay? Are my mothers-in-law okay? Are the subjects okay? Lakshmana says they're all fine. And then they ascend the chariot, they just continue, they travel, and they spend the night on the banks of River Gomati. So when we were with Lord Rama and we were going on the exile, the first stop is actually River Tamsa, and they cross Gomati the next morning. They do that. We have already seen it, but that's probably because Lord Rama's chariot, before they went on exile, it was paused continuously by the Ayodhyavasis. They didn't want Lord Rama to go. So it was paused by the Ayodhyavasis. And because of that, the speed of the horses was not that great. But right now, it was just Lakshmana, Sumantra, and Mother Sita. It is now Lakshmana, Sumantra, and Mother Sita, and therefore they were able to cross River Tamsa as well and go and reach River Gomati. The next morning, both of them climb on the chariot again, and they reach Ganga before noon. So they are reaching. It's almost like Shringavedpura. They don't see a guha at this time, but they reach Ganga by then, and Lakshmana begins to cry loudly, and SitaMa says, "Lakshmana, why are you crying? Is it because you spent 2 days and 2 nights without Rama? I also love Rama more than my own life, but I'm not grieving like this. Is everything okay?" No, and so she says, "Take me on the other side, because the sages are living on the other side of River Ganga." And says we can spend a night over there, and then the next morning we can return to Ayodhya, because she is also very eager to see Rama with lotus petal like eyes. So Lakshmana says, "Sumantra, you please wait near the chariot." And Rama and Lakshmana and Sita Ma cross River Ganga, and they reach the other side of River Ganga. At that time, Lakshmana, with folded palms, says that Rama has ordered something. Death is preferable for me more than uttering these words to you. So Sita says, "Lakshmana, whatever it is, you just tell me. Please just tell me." And Lakshmana says, listening to the story, listening to what the subjects were saying, "Rama has asked me to leave you on the banks of River Ganga so that you can stay with the ascetics." And he says, Valmiki Muni's ashrama is right over there, and he's a great friend of King Dasaratha. And please stay in Valmiki Muni's ashram, and you think only of Lord Rama. See, Valmiki Muni, great friend of King Dasaratha. That means that he's automatically like the father. So automatically like a father figure, like Jatayu. So automatically like a father figure for SitaMa. So when Lord Rama thinks so much about someone else's welfare, why wouldn't he do the same thing for SitaMa, whom he loves more than his own life? SitaMa was not abandoned. Remember this over and over again. Lord Rama asked Sita to be with Valmiki, who is equivalent to King Dasaratha. He said, "You go and stay in Valmiki's ashram." So when I was a child, I thought this: why didn't Rama tell Sita directly? I thought that, he should have done that. Rama should have told Sita directly, please go to Valmiki's ashram. You go and stay over there. Why didn't Rama tell Sita directly? And then as I grew older and I studied Ramayana better and better, I came to 2 different conclusions. One is that the Lord can do whatever he wants. If he wants to say something, he will say it. There is nobody who can prevent the Lord from saying something, or prevent the Lord from doing something, or make him change his mind once he has said so. There is nobody who can twist the arm of the Lord. Because the Lord is the most supreme. The Lord will willingly allow himself to be bound by his Bhaktas. The Lord will willingly be bound by his Bhaktas. But it's not as if the Bhaktas will twist the Lord's arm. That's not a Bhakta anymore. That is not that. The second reason, just the thought of sending SitaMa away to Valmiki's ashrama made him swim with tears. Swimming with tears. So imagine how he would have been had he told SitaMa directly. That pain would have been unbearable for him. It would have been unbearable. So therefore, he doesn't say it. And therefore he asks, why Lakshmana? Why not Bharata or Shatrughna? Lakshmana is his Dvitiya Antaratma. So he tells Sita through proxy. Through a proxy, he tells Sita. So this is why Rama does not tell SitaMa directly. And I've heard people chastise the Lord for this as well. But it's just because of poor understanding. They are reading just a tiny little subset of this huge epic, and they want to blow it way out of proportion, and they want to criticize the Lord. But we have to see the whole Valmiki Ramayana as in its entirety. And in its entirety, we know that Rama loves Sita more than his own life. He loves Sita more than his own life. And Rama never asked Sita to go and live in the forest. He never asked her to jump in the fire. He never asked her. Rama says, go and stay in Valmiki's ashram. There is a specific destination. A specific destination. Kaikeyi wanted Rama to roam in Dandakaranya. That is a huge forest. She wanted him to roam in Dandakaranya. There was just be a vagabond in the forest. But no, Rama does not do the same thing to SitaMa. And it's not as if Sita had to walk from here to Valmiki's ashram. No, Lakshmana dropped her off in Valmiki's ashram. Lakshmana dropped her off over there. So there are so many misconceptions about the Lord, and it's necessary for us to understand what Lord Rama truly said. Can you give me 1 second? So Valmiki, so as soon as SitaMa hears these words spoken by Lakshmana, she falls on the ground and she tells Lakshmana with full of tears that she must have separated her husband and wife, which is why she is also separated from her husband, even though she is pure and chaste. So in the past, she was very happy to stay in the forest because that meant that she could serve Lord Rama. But how is she going to survive right now, away from everybody else? The sages will ask her, for what sin of yours has Rama abandoned you? And so she says, I want to drown myself in Ganga, but I'm carrying my husband's children. And if I die, that would mean the termination of Lord Rama's dynasty. So I won't do it. So, it's very clear that in our Vedic scriptures, killing an unborn child is very sinful. But then she says, you should carry out your king's orders, and you should leave me over here. Then she says, carrying on my message back to everyone in Ayodhya. She first salutes her mothers-in-law. She tells Rama that you know that I'm always pure and I'm always devoted to you and I'm always engaged in your well-being. I understand that you want to avoid a bad name. That's the reason why you have cast me out. And I will do everything to ensure that you don't get a bad name. King, you are my husband, friend, spiritual master, and it is my responsibility to make sure that you are fine, even at the cost of my own life. So when Sita Ma is so gracious, and she herself does not find fault with Lord Rama, and she says that she is going to work for the Lord's benefit, is it okay for us to criticize the Lord for sending SitaMa to Valmiki's ashram? No. So does this mean that SitaMa does not know how to advocate for herself? Absolutely not. Because we have seen how well she advocates for herself in front of Ravana. We know that. Didn't we just read Sundarakand? So we know how well she can advocate for herself. She does that. She not only that, she knows how to protect the Rakshasis who tormented her. Hanuman wanted to destroy all of them. But SitaMa says, no, don't destroy them. So she can advocate for herself. She knows how to protect others. She was the one who brought Sugriva to Lord Rama. So indirectly, Rama gave his shelter to Sugriva only because SitaMa herself recommended him to Lord Rama. So this Sita, does she need fallen souls like us to advocate for her? No. She is more than capable of advocating for herself. Remember one of the names, I think in one Tyagaraja Kriti, I think, she's called as Agya Miraka. Lord Rama actually said, Sita, you should stay in the palace. And she went against the Lord's order. That's why Agya Miraka, she went against the Lord's order. And she made him convince his mind. She convinced him to change his mind and take her with him to the forest. This is SitaMa. This is Sita. So why would she need ordinary fools like us to go ahead and say, oh, for the sake of Sita, I know I'm criticizing the Lord. SitaMa herself did not criticize the Lord. She was a first party. She herself did not criticize Lord Rama. And she doesn't hold him guilty at all. She says, I'm going to work for Lord Rama's well-being. Because the internal potency of the Lord has just one job to do, and that is to please the Lord. SitaMa has just one job in this world, just one, and that is to always please Lord Rama. She pleases this through her own beauty, her own qualities, her own smiles, the way she speaks and all that. And another way is by bringing bhaktas closer to the lotus feet of the Lord. She brings bhaktas closer. And by doing that, she knows that she's going to increase the pleasure of the Lord. She's acting in his favor. And this is the promise. I'm going to do everything I can do for Rama. That is the promise that she gives to Lakshmana. That is the promise. And then she says, Lakshmana, look at me. Lakshmana touches her. He cries and he circumambulates her. And then he says, till now I have not looked at you. How do you expect me to look at you in this forest without Rama beside you? I won't look at you. He sends for the boatman and he crosses the river and he reaches the other side of River Ganga and he is crying with tears. He's full of grief and sorrow because he knows how much pain his brother is undergoing at the moment. He knows the pain that his brother is undergoing. He sees that SitaMa is going here and there. And SitaMa sees that Lakshmana has climbed on the chariot and he has gone. And Sita is overwhelmed with grief. And she just sits down and she begins to cry. And now Valmiki enters the scene only because it is pivotal to the story. Valmiki never boasts about himself. So in the 56th chapter of Ayodhyavasis, we saw Valmiki for just one verse, that Lord Rama came and saw Valmiki. That's it. We don't know anything beyond that. And in the first couple of chapters of Balakand, the first 4 chapters, we saw about Valmiki as well, because he had to describe about the composition of Valmiki Ramayana. Apart from that, he doesn't talk about himself. He doesn't continuously boast, oh, this Valmiki has composed this. He doesn't keep on boasting about himself. He never does it. So humble, such a humble person. This is one of my pet peeves about this is seriously one of my pet peeves about Tulsidas. In every composition, he will insert his name. In every composition, he will say that Tulsidas. He will put his name in there. It's almost like that is a signature. It's not that great Bhaktas have not done it. Even the Alvars, there are a couple who have done it. Alvars have, there are a few people who have done it. So it's not that it's a tragic mistake, but Valmiki is very, very, very high. And he will not say, I did this, it is me. He doesn't say like that. So he sees Sita Ma crying. So the rishis see Sita Ma crying, and then they go and tell Valmiki Muni that a very beautiful and celestial lady is crying on the banks of River Ganga. Valmiki closes his eyes, and through his Dirghadarashi, he recognizes everything that has happened. And he recognizes everything. The Lord's reason why he sends SitaMa to him, he recognizes everything. He approaches Mother Sita. He says that, I know that you are the daughter-in-law of King Dasaratha, and you are the beloved wife of Rama. You have come over here. It is very auspicious. See, SitaMa's entry is always auspicious. And she is entering the home of a person who loves Rama. And that's why it is very auspicious. And she says, I know why you have come here. I know that you're very chaste. And you please come to my hermitage. And all my disciples, all the ascetics, will treat you like their beloved daughter. Hearing these words, SitaMa touches the feet of Sage Valmiki and says, okay, fine, I'm happy to come. I am happy to come. So if you remember the Ayodhyavasis pastime, we saw Bharadwaj Muni in near Prayag, right? And then from Prayag they went to Chitrakuta, and on the way to Chitrakuta was when they met Sage Valmiki. So it looks as if Valmiki's ashram, it has changed a little bit, because obviously the sages continuously roam and all that. And right now Sage Valmiki is next to River Ganga. And we saw in the second chapter of Balakan that Ganga was close by, but Sage Valmiki goes to one of the tributaries of Ganga, which is River Tamasa. And in Tamasa was when he sees Nishada kill the male Krauncha bird, and he utters the Ma Nishada Pratiswam Tvam Agama Shashwati Vada Yat Krauncha Maitanadekam Avadi Kama Mohitam. He says that. So Tamsa, so the river is not in just one spot, right? So we have multiple tributaries and all this. So just the bank of the river, it's a huge bank. So we have to adjust that. Geography, we don't really know that quite well. Treta Yuga's geography could be a little bit different. So anyway, SitaMa has seen Valmiki before, and now she is seeing him again. And Valmiki introduces her, and obviously the ascetics have the wives as well. So SitaMa goes and lives with the wives of the ascetics. So now from far, Lakshmana has seen Valmiki Muni come to SitaMa, and SitaMa going into the ashram of Valmiki, and Lakshmana cannot stand it. Lakshmana tells Sumantra, it's very painful for me to see Rama, who's going to be sad because SitaMa has gone up, and SitaMa did nothing wrong. She's absolutely pure. Rama can destroy Devas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Rakshasas. He can destroy everyone. He has already gone through so much of trouble in the past when he went in the Dandaka forest, and now this seems needless, is ruthless. The citizens were not correct. So why punish Mother Sita? The citizens were not correct. That's what Lakshmana says. So why punish him? So the citizens, what they said about SitaMa and all that was not exactly correct, because there is nothing wrong with SitaMa. But of course, they were put in that position so that this pastime can take place. So remember, Lord Rama goes through so much of pain, so much of sadness. Not only Lord Rama, even Mother Sita went through so much of pain, so much of sadness, because it was necessary for her to stay in Valmiki Muni's ashram. It was necessary for her to do that. And there should be a reason, isn't it? So one fine day, Rama cannot just simply say, oh, Sita, go and stay with Valmiki's ashram. One fine day, Rama cannot, he can, but people think, oh, there was no reason. But now there is a reason, to for his name, to show that this is the dharma of an ideal king and all that. He has to do something. So just imagine these the today's politicians. They're more interested in making sure that their treasury keeps on increasing. They put in their own brothers and sisters and brothers-in-law and their chacha, mama, kaka, everyone in some very prime position in the government, and they don't do anything for the people. They are just interested in looting the treasury so that as much as possible they get all the personal material benefits. They don't do anything for the subjects. Lord Rama shows that for the sake of the subjects, even if discarding your own family is necessary, you should be able to do it. He shows that. But that is only a very basic level of understanding. It is only a basic level. Rama doesn't do things for just one reason. There is always multiple reasons behind his pastimes. Always beautiful, beautiful reasons behind these pastimes. And then Sumantra. We have already known that Sumantra is a great confidant of the Lord. Sumantra is that person who advised King Dasaratha, now is the time for you to go ahead and do the Ashwamedha Yajna with the sage Rishi Shringa as the forefront. This is what you should do. He advises King Dasaratha, he advises Lord Rama, and he has been part of the royal dynasty. He is very close, such a great well-wisher of Dasaratha and his family. And now he reveals the reason. He reveals a reason. And this is a reason that most people are not even aware of. So prepare to be surprised. Sumantra tells Lakshmana, Lakshmana, do not grieve. Do not grieve. There was a time, I don't know what happened. I didn't stop sharing my screen. Hold it. So Sumantra says, Lord Rama was married when he was Lord Rama was married when he was 13 years old. He went to the forest when he was 25. So in between, there were 12 years, right? So, so within those 12 years, something had happened. And Sumantra reveals that reason. In the presence of King Dasaratha, there were other sages who had predicted the exile of Mother Sita. They had also predicted that Rama will renounce Sita, Lakshmana, Shatrughna, Bharata. And this was revealed by sage Durvasa Muni in the presence of Sumantra to King Dasaratha. And Dasaratha had told Sumantra, please do not tell this to anyone. And so Sumantra tells Lakshmana the story. He says, do not communicate to anyone. Because it is necessary for Lakshmana to know what was communicated by Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni, everyone knows, is a very highly elevated rishi. And now Sumantra tells that Lakshmana says, what did the rishi say? What did Sage Durvasa say? Can you please tell me? And Sumantra tells that story. Prepare to be amazed. So many years ago, So this is approximately between Lord Rama's 13th birthday and 25th birthday. Okay, so within these 12 years, Durvasa Muni, so during the Chaturmasya, which is the 4 months of monsoon season, the sages usually travel to another sage's ashram and they stay there for those 4 months. During Chaturmasya, the travel is not done. So before Chaturmasya, but the sages will travel, and like a couple of sages together, they will sit down and they are going to just have beautiful discussions and all that. Our Karkata Masa Shravanam Yajna is also done during Chaturmasya. So sages from such a long time ago, they have been sitting down together, they've been reciting the glories of the Lord. Of course, we conducted in a completely modern way over internet and all that. But in the previous ages, they used to live together. And obviously, King Dasaratha, he's a patron of so many sages and all that. So when he got to know that Durvasa Muni was in Sage Vasishta's ashram, he came over there to pay his respects and all that. And then obviously he's going to ask about his beloved sons. So how are Rama and Bharata and Lakshmana and Shatrugna? So uh, So Durvasa Muni says that Rama will have children and the Sola dynasty will be propagated. Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrugna will also have children. The Sola dynasty is going to continue, but Rama and Sita will be separated. Rama and Sita will be separated. Then Dasharatha says, why? Why would Rama and Sita be separated? And then Durvasa Muni says, many, 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 many eons ago, the Devatas and Asuras fought with each other and they took shelter of the wife of Bhrigu Muni's wife, this is Shukracharya's mother, by the way. Bhrigu Muni's wife promised the Asuras that she's going to take care of them. And they lived fearlessly. Lord Vishnu became very angry. Why? Because when we take shelter of someone, we should improve. We should become better. So it's not just enough that we just say, okay, I'm taking your shelter. So with Vibhishna, the thing was that he was already on the path of righteousness, and so he took shelter. He continued to stay on the path of righteousness. It's not as if, oh, I have taken the shelter of Rama and he has promised to protect me, so now let me go ahead and be a tyrant. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So Kakasura took the shelter of Lord Rama. Rama punished him for the crime he committed against Sita, and then he said, I forgive you, you can go. I forgive you. The forgiveness was there. Forgiveness was there. But he had to punish him for the consequence of troubling Mother Sita. So when we take the shelter of a superior person, we need to change our ways so that we can become better people. We can become better. Same thing goes with our normal thing as well. So if we take a shelter of a guru, then say, oh, the guru is there, he will take care of everything. Now let me go ahead and be a monkey. Let me act like one. It's not going to bode very well. It is not going to bode well. Therefore, we need to become better when we take the shelter of someone. And if we don't, then the person whose shelter we have taken is culpable. He is culpable. And therefore, Lord Vishnu became very angry and he chopped off the head of Bhrigu Muni's wife with his chakra. Now, Bhrigu Muni cursed Lord Vishnu. I'm cursing you that when you take the form of a human being, you too are going to be separated from your wife. Then immediately he regrets this curse. He conducts tapasya and Lord Vishnu appears in front of him. And Lord Vishnu says, I accept your curse. Lord Vishnu accepts everything. We have already said he doesn't take offense. You offer him flowers, he will accept. You shoot arrows at him, he will accept. You praise him, he will accept. You curse him, he will accept. You criticize him, he will accept. As long as you're thinking of him. And he says, oh, my dear Bhrigu, I accept. I accept. And he says, after Ravana is destroyed, this curse is going to take effect. And then Durvasa Muni tells Dasaratha, that same Vishnu has now been reborn as your beloved son Rama. And Rama will partake in this curse. He shall rule the world for a very long time. He and Sita will have 2 sons. He will conduct many sacrifices. So we have already seen, 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, Vajpaya Yajnas, Paundraka Yajnas, Agnishtoma, Jyotir Yoma, so many he will conduct. And he will establish many royal families. Dasaratha became silent and he returned to Ayodhya. So this is a second proof, the second time Dasaratha is told that his beloved son Rama is the incarnation of the Lord. He is the Supreme Lord himself. Before he went on exile, Dasaratha was told the second time that Rama is none other than Lord Vishnu himself. Does anyone remember who mentioned it the first time?
Vishwamitra says this. Vishwamitra tells with Vasishta that Jai Sitaram. Jai Sitaram, am I audible, Ji? Mataji?
Nobody? Exactly, Parashuram. He says Rama is Madhuhantara. So when Lord Rama and Sita Ma got married and they were coming back to Ayodhya, Parashuram appears over there and Parashuram tells Lord Rama that you are Madhuhantara, you are the Supreme Lord. Madhusudana, Madhuhantara, all of them mean the same thing. And he says, you are the Supreme Lord and I don't mind being defeated by you. And Dasaratha was right over there. So Parashurama has declared Rama as Madhuhantara. Sage Durvasa had declared Lord Rama as Lord Vishnu. And still, the heart of Dasaratha was so great, so full of Vatsalya Bhava towards the Lord, that he couldn't see him as a supreme. He just saw him as his darling little boy. And anyway, Durvasa Muni has said, it is during the Rama Avataram that Vishnu wants that curse to take effect. And therefore, because of the promise that he gave Bhrigu Muni, that he will accept the curse, that is why Rama and Sita will be parted. And Sumantra says, I was right with Durvasa Muni and King Dasaratha when Durvasa Muni uttered these words. The Rishi's words will not prove false. Rama will certainly install Sita's sons in Ayodhya. He will certainly do that so that the dynasty continues. And now that Lakshmana knows the reason why this pastime has taken place, Lakshmana, please do not grieve at all. As soon as Lakshmana hears this, he becomes very happy and he praises Sumantra again and again. Now, why is Valmiki saying that Lakshmana became very happy? He was crying with grief and sorrow. His face was swimming in tears. He couldn't withstand the fact that that Mother Sita was in the forest, even though she is in Valmiki Muni's ashram. He couldn't think about that at all. And now he has heard the reason. The reason was that it was just the Lord promising Bhrigu Muni that he'll be parted from his wife. It is just that. And when Lakshmana hears this story, he becomes very happy. He becomes very happy. So do you think the Lord does not know that Bhrigu Muni's curse is going to take effect over here? Of course, yes, he does. He even told Bhrigu Muni that when this is going to take place, it's after the destruction of Ravana, this is going to take place. He even told him that. He even understood that fact and he told him that this is when this effect is going to take place. And Bhrigu Muni is fine. At first he was very sad that he cursed Lord Vishnu, but then he's okay. I understand that the Lord did this to enact a particular pastime. It's fine. So this proves that the Lord will never forget a promise that he has made another person. He will never forget it. So because he wants SitaMa, because he wants to fulfill his promise to Bhrigu Muni, he has to make sure that SitaMa goes and stays in Valmiki Muni's ashram. Why Valmiki, that is a different thing. And we will come back to why particularly Valmiki, that is slightly different. But the fact that he had to send SitaMa away was to fulfill this promise. And to send her away, he cannot just out of the blue just send someone away. He has to give a reason. And that reason that was given was the Ayodhyavasis thinking like this. Did they actually do that? No. It's just that they were put in ignorance so that this pastime can take place. So that this pastime can take place. Just as how Arjuna is not unintelligent, he is very intelligent. Arjuna was put in ignorance so that he can ask questions, so that Lord Krishna's Bhagavad Gita Leela can just continue. So this is the step-by-step understanding. So now why particularly Valmiki, that will be elaborated, I think, in the next section, not right now, but that is going to be elaborated. That is going to be elaborated later on. And they make their way back to Ayodhya and they stop at River Keshini. Now, remember, Rama asked Lakshmana to go with Sumantra because Sumantra is the only person who knows this truth. Dasaratha is gone, It's not as if Dasaratha is going to come and reveal it to Lakshmana right now. It's not as if Durvasa Muni will just come and say as well, because the sages have particular time when they want to come and particular time when they don't want to come. So it's not as if Durvasa Muni is going to come right now. So Dasaratha cannot come right now. Sumantra is the only one handy who can say these words. And therefore, Lakshmana says, you take Sumantra and you go. He doesn't just say, Lakshmana, you drop off Sita in Valmiki's ashram. He says, you and Sumantra go to Valmiki's, you and Sumantra drop off Sita in Valmiki's ashram. Sumantra. So Sumantra repeatedly asked Lakshmana not to repeat the story, because people cannot understand this pastime. It is easier to find to say that the Lord is guilty, the Lord is at fault. But it's very difficult to think about the fact that he was accepting a curse that Bhrigu Muni had placed on him. And also, Valmiki keeps on saying, Lakshmana was very unhappy. Lakshmana was very unhappy. Very unhappy, very unhappy. But as soon as he heard this story from Sage Durvasa, he became very happy. Because he knows that Rama will never stop at anything to fulfill his promise to someone. So Rama's kindness is still shown. Rama is still great. His adherence to Dharma is still there. And so if Lakshmana can be happy with this story, why can't we be happy? There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong in what Lord Rama did. How is it possible to find fault with the Lord? SitaMa said, I want to go to the forest to spend time with the ascetics. Lord Rama promised to fulfill her wishes. And okay, if that reason is not enough, he gives and yet another reason, that this is the king should behave in a completely impartial way. He gives that reason as well. And then we also see that Bhrigu Muni had placed a curse wherein he had to keep SitaMa away from him. So he gives that other reason. And then Sita and Rama did everything so that SitaMa can go to Valmiki Muni's ashram. And we will talk about that in greater detail. But when all of these reasons are here, why is it difficult for us to believe that Rama did not do anything wrong in sending SitaMa to the forest, SitaMa to Valmiki Muni's ashram? It's perfectly justified. Everything is perfectly justified. This is why, in a non-judgmental way, we need to read Uttara Kanda so that we can understand why the Lord did what he did. So people won't read this. This story is hardly ever mentioned by the many millions of people who want to criticize the Lord. The story is hardly ever mentioned. Hardly. Because people who have read Uttara Kanda will know this. People who haven't read Uttara Kanda will not know. As simple as that. So there is nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. And we also know that Dasaratha knows that Rama is Lord Vishnu, but he sees him only in the eyes of Vatsalya Bhava. So what is Rama going to eat? Where is he going to sleep? What is he going to wear? How is he going to wake up? These were the only thoughts that Dasaratha had. He never thought, oh, this is the Supreme Lord. Oh, it's I need to treat him with awe and reverence. Oh, Lord, give me everything. No. It's like, how is Rama going to be comfortable? That was his only thought. The next morning, they go back from the bank of River Keshini. They go back to Ayodhya. Rama goes to the palace of Lakshmana goes to the palace of Rama. Rama was very distressed. So for the past several days, Rama has been doing nothing but crying. And he said, I've left SitaMa at Valmiki Muni's ashram, and I've now returned to serve you, my dear Rama. You shouldn't grieve, you shouldn't be overwhelmed with such sorrow. And Rama is happy that Lakshmana is consoling him like this. And he also says that I'm very happy that you carried out my orders. And he says, for the past 4 days, I haven't looked at the affairs of the state. So the first was, on the banks of River Gomati, then at Ganga, then these people were at River Keshini, and then now here. So this has been like 4 days. So for the past 4 days, I haven't done anything but sob and cry and cry and cry at the thought of Sita going away from the palace. I've done nothing but cry. And so Rama says, now is anyone in trouble? If so, Lakshmana, please bring him to me. And now Lord Rama talks about, there are a couple of stories wherein kings have not fulfilled their duties properly, and because of that, it has caused some great havoc to the king. So one example is that of King Nriga. Nriga in Srimad Bhagavatam time is actually one of the sons of Ikshvaku. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that he is one of the sons of Ikshvaku, but in Valmiki Ramayana, it is not mentioned. So this is why whenever I think about the sons of Ikshvaku that are mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, the first person is obviously Kukshi. He's the first son, and he's been mentioned in the lineage of Ikshvaku. The second that I can think of is Nimi. Nimi is the 12th son of Ikshvaku, and he's the one who propagated the dynasty of King Janaka. The other one is Vishala, and he's the one whose descendant Sumati offered very beautiful prayers to Lord Rama and Lakshmana before they went to King Janaka, who also offered the same prayers as King Sumati. And the fourth is Danda, who is the 100th son of Ikshvaku. He's the 100th son, and then we get some stories about him, and it's because of him that that forest became Dandakaranya. So Nriga, I'm not sure whether he was a son of Ikshvaku as mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, but at least in what's it called, in Srimad Bhagavatam, he's mentioned as the son of Ikshvaku. So once he conferred 1 crore of cows to Brahmanas, and accidentally 1 cow and 1 calf strayed from the herd and went to another herd. The first Brahmana searched for the cow, and then he found out that the cow and calf were staying in the second Brahmana's home. And he called the cow and she followed him. Then the second Brahmana, in whose house she has lived for such a long time, also followed him and said that the cow belonged to him. Both of them argued. Then they went to the palace and they couldn't see him for a long time. And so they cursed him to become a lizard and live for many thousands of years till Lord Vasudeva, this is our very own beloved Lord Krishna, liberates him from the curse. Then that cow is is given to another Brahmana, and Lord Rama says that King Nriga is still undergoing that curse. So the picture that we see on our left is the story of King is showing how Lord Vasudeva just reached down upon the well and he picked up this huge lizard, and due to the divine touch, he automatically turns to King Nriga. The story comes in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I think it's the 64th chapter or so. Around the 60th chapter, you can just check it out. And we get to see how the curse of King Nriga is removed by Lord Krishna. And by the way, this is one of the many places where Lord Krishna appears in Valmiki Ramayana. And then Lord Rama says, it's because of the king's foolishness that there is a mutual disagreement between the workers. And so if there is anybody who has any questions for him or anything, they should be brought in immediately. Lord Lakshmana says, what did Nriga do as soon as he was cursed? So Lord Rama says that Nriga placed his son Vasu on the throne, and he asked his architects to prepare a large den for him that can withstand various kinds of weather. He instructed his son, and then Nriga went on to live in the forest. Then he talks about another story on morality. Nimi was the 12th son of King Ikshvaku, and he created the beautiful city of Vijayata near the hermitage of Sage Gautama. We have already seen that. And he conducted a huge sacrifice for the satisfaction of his ancestors. And he invited Vasishta Muni, Atri Muni, Angarisa, Bhrigu Muni, and the others. And Vasishta said, Nimi, just hold on. King Indra has engaged me in one sacrifice, so please wait. Gautama was engaged to take over Vasishta's duties. Nimi did not want to wait for Sage Vasishta, so he engaged Sage Gautama, who was very close to his kingdom anyway. Nimi celebrated the sacrifice for 5,000 years. And after completing the sacrifice, Vasishta Muni came to Nimi. And Nimi was sound asleep, and Vasishta Muni was very angry that Nimi had engaged Sage Gautama, neglected him, and all that. So he said, Nimi, may your body become senseless. Nimi was like, what mistake did I do? You were busy, I engaged someone else, so I curse you. You also became senseless. So because of this mutual curses, both Nimi and Vasishta became deprived of their bodies. Then Sage Vasishta went to Lord Brahma and said, Brahma, please grant me another body. Then Brahma said, enter the vital energy of Mitra and Varuna. Vasishta Muni entered the region of Varuna, and Mitra and Varuna were ruling Varuna's kingdom together at this time. So one day Urvashi appeared. Urvashi is very beautiful, and Varuna was very happy that Urvashi had come there. And he said, I want to live with you. Urvashi said that Mitra also wanted to live with her. And Varuna discharged his vital energy into a pot. Urvashi was happy, and she said that my heart belongs to you. And then she approached Mitra, and Mitra was very angry because you have approached me after you have accepted someone else. And therefore Mitra says, may you live in the land of the mortals. And Urvashi is cursed, so she comes to live in with King Pururava. We will see the birth of this king later on, who is the son of Buddha, and the kingdom that they live in is Pratisthana. Urvashi and Puru Rava have a son by the name of Ayu, whose son Nahusha ruled the Devatas for 100,000 years when Indra was hurt by the thunderbolt of Vritrasura. So after the curse was over, Urvashi returned to Indraloka. And from that pot, Agastya Muni and Vasishta are both born. This is why Agastya Muni is also known as Kumbha Yoni. We read that name in the first slide of Uttara Kanda, that Agastya was named as Kumbha Yoni because he was born from the pot. Vasishta Muni became the royal priest of the Ikshvakus. And now what happened to Nimi? Nimi was taught by sage Bhrigu Muni, and then ultimately he restored Nimi to his senses. And the Devatas were very happy with Nimi and said, where do you want to reside? Where do you want your consciousness to be placed? And he said that I want to be on the eyes of the Devatas. And the Devatas agreed. Then that body that Nimi had was in the sacrificial ground, and they began to churn it, which is known as Mathan. And from there, one son sprang up. And from that body, one son sprang up, and that's why that son's name is Mithi, because he originated from Mathana. And he was also known as Janma because he came from Janan, and Vaideha because he was born without any body, Videha. So that's why Mother Sita's name is Vaidehi. We have seen that already. And Janaka is the king. This Janaka is the first king of the Videhas. So this is not our Janaka, the father of SitaMa. This is a Janaka far beyond that. And therefore his mightily therefore the family is also known as Mithilas. Then Lord Rama talks about the story of forgiveness. So there was once a son. There was once a man by the name of Yayati, who was the son of a great king called Nahusha. So he had two wives, Devayani, who is the son of Shukracharya or Ushanas, and Sarmishtha, who was the daughter of Vrishaparva and the granddaughter of Aditi. So Devayani gave birth to Yadu. Sarmishta gave birth to Puru. Puru was his father's favorite because he was very lovely child, as well as his mother was the favorite of King Yayati. Yadu, even though he was the oldest, he was very angry about it, and he said that he's going to renounce his life. Now Devayani, she went to Ushanas, she went to Sukracharya, and she began to complain that her husband has neglected her. So Sukracharya cursed Yayati, you become old. So Yayati now went to Yadu and said, exchange your youth for my old age. Let me enjoy for some more time, and then I'll give it back to you. And then Yadu said, you go and ask your favorite son, Puru. Why are you coming to me? Go and ask your favorite son. So now Yayati asked Puru. And he said, okay, father, if this is what you want, take it. So Yayati transferred his old age to his son. He ruled the kingdom for many thousands of years, celebrated more and more sacrifices. After a long time, he took back his old age and transferred the youth back to his beloved son. And then he said, Puru, you are going to be the next king. And then he angrily told Yadu that you are going to be the king of Rakshasas. And then he went off to the forest and ultimately went to Devaloka. Puru reigned the Pratisthana kingdom, and Yadu begot multiple Rakshasas, and they lived in Kraunchavana. And this is how Yayati accepted Sukracharya's curse. And Rama says that we should not neglect one's duties like King Nriga, so we have to be very careful. The next, it's dawn. After some time, in the royal court of Lord Rama, Vasishta and the other priests, and many have assembled. So Rama says, Lakshmana, can you go outside and check out if everything is fine? Lakshmana goes out, but there is no one who is diseased or poor. There's plenty of grain and corn. Because the earth is governed very piously by Lord Rama. He says that there are nobody who has any complaints, and Rama is very happy. And Lakshmana says that let me go outside and check again. And there he sees a dog waiting at the gate. Lakshmana says, what brought you to the gate? And the dog says, I will tell Lord Rama, who is the refuge of all. And Lakshmana goes back to Rama and then returns to the dog and says that you can, Rama wants to see you, so you can come and speak to Lord Rama directly. The dog says, I cannot enter the house of divinities, that means the temple, brahmanas and kings, or anywhere there is fire, Indra, sun, wind. I cannot enter any of these places. And Rama is a soul of virtue. So the dog asks Lakshmana, please tell Rama that I will not enter his house without permission. So we have already seen, during the sacrifice of King Marutta, Valmiki has said, Ravana entered the that sacrificial hall, just as how a dog enters it. So this dog seems to be quite elevated, actually, even though he's in the body of a dog, and we will see his story a little bit later. And dogs are generally a very low consciousness. That's why we shouldn't associate with them, especially in temples, or as brahmanas, or as kshatriyas, or as kings. So these are not, it shouldn't enter the house. Shouldn't enter the house. And especially if our house is full of, Lord Rama's pictures and all that, it's generally not a good idea for a dog to enter it. It's not a good idea to associate with dogs because it lowers our consciousness. It really lowers our consciousness. So we should be very careful. So now Rama gives permission. Please, dog, please enter. Because what does Rama see? He's Vidya Vinaya Sampanna. He's like perfectly equanimous. So he doesn't see, oh, this is the body of a dog or anything. He just sees when Jivatma has come over here for seeking justice. And Lord Rama says, oh dog, please tell me what is your sorrow? And the Lord says, the dog says, this is the duty of the king, you're the best, and all that. And then the dog says, this is my story. There is a house of a Brahmana, there lives a beggar by the name of Sarvartha Siddha, and he has hurt me. And Rama sends his messengers to bring Sarvartha Siddha to the court. And he asks him, why did you beat this dog with a rod out of anger? Now, Sarvartha Siddha said that he's been roaming around the entire day for alms, and he was very angry, and he struck the dog because it did not move out of his path. Yeah, and Savartha Sita said, I know that I deserve punishment, so you just tell me what should I do. So now Brigu, Angirasa, Kutsa, Vasishta, Kashyapa, and the other sages said, he's a Brahmana, so please do not put him to death. So, and they also say, Rama, you are the protector of all. You are, after all, you are Lord Vishnu. Then Rama asked the dog, and the dog says he should be put as the head of the Kalanjara family. The Brahmana, the Sarvartha Siddha, he is very happy and he is honored and okay, fine, I'm going to be the head of the Kalanjara family. So now the entire assembly is looking at Rama and they're all thinking, but Rama, you didn't punish Sarvartha Siddha. It's almost as if he beat the dog and now he's obtained great position as great status as the head of the Kalanjara family. And then Rama says, you do not know the full truth, but the dog knows it. Dog, you tell your truth. The dog says in its past birth, the previous Janma, he was the head of the Kalanjara family. He was very pious. He used to worship the devatas and the brahmanas and servants and then take the food. I was not attached to any sin. I was humble and good-natured, and yet, this time round, I was born in the despicable body of a dog. This Brahmana, Sarvartha Siddha, is impetuous, he is impatient, he is impious, cruel, harsh, and ignorant. I, doing all of my duties perfectly, I myself was born as a dog. He cannot do his duties properly, and therefore he will be punished severely. And then the dog says, I'm going to go off to Varanasi for a vow of fasting. So what does this mean? So just because we obtain high position, high honor wherever we are right now, it doesn't mean that it is not a punishment. It doesn't mean that it is, oh, everything is going great with me, I am so wonderful. It's not at all that fact. It is that there is a consequence. There is a consequence. So placing Sarvartha Siddha as the head of the Kalanjara family, he thought that, oh wow, I kicked a dog and I became the head. I became the head of the Kalanjara family. But actually, it was a severe punishment. It was a very severe punishment. Okay, with this one, let us conclude this topic. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop recording as well. Does anyone? Mangalam Koslendraya Mahaniya Gunabde Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarva Bhaumaya Mangalam. Jai Sitaram.
Jai Sitaram. Mataji, one doubt.